All right, my fellow Americans, today I stand before you to address the critical issue that affects our community and our fundamental rights as citizens of this great nation. Let me be clear. I wholeheartedly believe in the Second Amendment as it is the cornerstone of our democracy. It's also a bedrock principle enshrined in the Bill of Rights. Today we'll be discussing concealed carry laws which govern the right to bear arms. Now keep in mind, the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution states, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This is important to understand. The Bill of Rights, my friends, is not simply a document that grants our rights. Rather, it's a document that serves as a testament to the inalienable rights that are given to us and bestowed upon us by our God and our Creator. The Bible in Luke 11:21 states, when a strong man is fully armed and he guards his own palace, his goods are safe. Likewise, Christ himself said to his disciples, but now the one who has a money bag, take it, and likewise a knapsack. And let the one who has no sword sell his cloak and buy one. This is important to understand that the inalienable rights that are enshrined in the Constitution are not rights that are given to us by our government. These are rights that are bestowed upon us by God. These are not under the direction of our government. These are under the direction of ourselves as free human beings. The Bill of Rights also reaffirms that our inherent right to protect ourselves and our family is a solemn duty. It's one that should not be hindered by burdensome or unnecessary concealed carry laws. These laws, as they currently stand, place stringent requirements on law-abiding citizens, making it an arduous task to exercise their right to self-defense. Giffords.org states that Rhode Island currently has laws for local licensing bureaus and authorities to issue a concealed carry license under the subjective measure known as shall issue. Now, this states that an eligible person is only able to receive a concealed carry license if they are deemed a suitable person, and they can only be licensed if they have good reason to fear for injury or for their property loss. Now, while I acknowledge the need for responsible gun ownership, we must also recognize that these regulations often unfairly target those who wish to protect themselves within the bounds of the law. Case in point, the Mulford Act of 1967. This case stands around a law that was passed in California by then Governor Ronald Reagan. This prohibited the public carrying of loaded firearms without a permit, and this was done in direct response to the Black Panthers. For those of you who remember or who know, the civil rights of the 1960s, the tumultuous time where Black Americans were being targeted to be lynched, harassed, or even killed, not only by normal citizens, but also law enforcement. The leaders of the Black Panther Party had one member who was actually a law student. He understood that under the then California law, you could actually carry a loaded firearm in public and watch and observe police interactions with everyday citizens from a certain distance. They did this to ensure the protection of Black Americans while in California. The Mulford Act was passed to directly impact this, outlawing conceal and open carry of firearms, loaded firearms in the state of California. This act was also the blueprint for every other future coming concealed carry law in America. Allow for me to share with you guys a personal story that also underscores the importance of preserving this right. When I was in high school, a young lady that I was dating was in college, and she was working at a local Subway store. She had a friend that she had dated who gave her a phone call about 9 o'clock one night, and he said to her, I'm coming over with a friend of mine, and we plan to rob this restaurant. And what we want you to do is to go along with this robbery, to allow us to take the money, and we won't do anything to you, and we will split the money with you. She immediately told him that she had no intention of doing this, and she hung up the phone. When these two gentlemen showed up to her work, they again asked her to participate in the robbery, and she said no. When they finally understood that she was not going to go along with this robbery, they decided to do the robbery anyway. And they shot her in the head, and they killed her. This is a woman who had every understanding that someone was coming to her business to do harm to that business and potentially hurt. But she had no authority and no ability to protect herself. And under the laws as they stood, she wouldn't be able to carry a firearm at work anyway. And she lost her life. We must remember that law-abiding citizens are not the problem. In fact, they're the very foundation upon which this society is built. And it is impossible, and it's imperative, that Americans be trusted to exercise their rights responsibly. By removing the barriers imposed by stringent concealed carry laws, we empower individuals to take charge of their own safety and security. The National Library of Medicine states that emergency medical response times to a 911 emergency is well over 7 minutes in urban settings, while over 14 minutes in rural settings nationwide. Some of these settings have people waiting over 30 minutes, and these statistics are as of 2017, before the pandemic and before the unrest of 2020. Furthermore, let us not forget that the Second Amendment was drafted to ensure citizens have the means to protect themselves from tyranny of the government should it ever arise. This is a safeguard and a balance of our democracy, and we must not allow it to be diluted by regulations that hinder it. In closing, it is time for us to reevaluate and reaffirm our concealed carry laws. We must do so in a way that upholds the sanctity of the Second Amendment while recognizing it as a right granted by God. Let us trust those law-abiding citizens to exercise that right responsibly. By doing so, we strengthen the very foundation of our democracy. Thank you.